Hello, I'm Pastor Dave Denoon of the First Congregational Church of Webster Groves, United Church of Christ. It's Saturday, November 14th, and these are your weekend announcements. Tomorrow is an important day in the life of First Church. It's our annual ingathering of pledges for the coming year. We'll have a special moment at the end of the service when you will be invited, if you haven't done so already, to submit your or your household's financial commitment for 2021. You can do so with the pledge card that you've already received at home or by going to the church's website's donate page and filling out the form there. Once that invitation has been made, we'll take a moment to consecrate our faith promises, and then we will adjourn to our weekly virtual coffee fellowship, which at 11:30 a.m. will transition into a congregational meeting. Moderator Mark Edwards will call to order this special annual event in which we consider the passage of a proposed budget by the executive ministry. Copies of the proposed budget were mailed to each member household a few weeks ago with a letter of explanation about its expenses and anticipated sources of income. An especially large amount has been suggested to be withdrawn from our endowment fund because of losses in customary contributions for building use by organizations and individuals, as well as some diminishment of donations with our members' and friends' incomes, which have become limited in the midst of the COVID pandemic. Expenses include some funds for part-time workers directed into a new staff position, full-time staff position, which we are calling pastoral assistant. The pastoral assistant will be working with me in the fields of pastoral care and worship, as well as offering specialized ministry in areas of Christian education and faith formation for our young people. I have now met with about half a dozen candidates for this new professional staff position, and a search team of members of the executive ministry and the Christian education ministry will now begin meeting to discern whether one of these is the candidate to fill this new role. Please be praying for us as this process moves forward. It will be important for many of us, or rather for as many of us as possible, to be in the Zoom virtual coffee hour at 11:30 a.m. to discuss and pass that budget for 2021. So please set aside that time for yourself now. Set an alarm so that you can be online with your fellow members of the congregational for the congregational meeting at 11:30 tomorrow, Sunday, November 15th. We'll be considering the 2021 budget. That link and meeting ID are included in the text below this video. Here are reminders about two efforts we'd like you to be a part of. First, there's the survey that the Ministry of Imagination, Creativity, and the Arts is conducting about the webinar and worship services we created with the help of our Calvin Institute Worship Renewal Grant. Journey Through Creation. Micah needs your wisdom and insight about the series so far, so please take a moment or two to answer some questions that Micah has assembled so that they can do a bit of fine-tuning to the program. And if you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I haven't seen those videos, I can't answer the survey. No, we have a solution for that. If you're thinking you can't take part in the survey because you haven't seen the innovative, informative, and inspiring Journey Through Creation videos, just go to the link you see on your screen right now. It will take you to our YouTube channel, and the 3 videos will all be there. Watch them, and then take the survey. Simple. The link to the questionnaire is below. In the text text announcements, so thank you in advance. And then, music director and composer Leon Burke III, who is working on a new piece of music he is calling When Things Are Normal Again, also craves your input, and incidentally, so do I. His new piece will be a choral work, but with some spoken portions, and he's asking us to help him with those spoken portions. There's a form he's created for us to fill out. It's on pages 7 and 8 of the Covenant News, and Leon is asking all of us to jot down a few thoughts based on sentence prompts inspired by our situations in this pandemic. They're open-ended phrases like, "Something I never used to notice is." And when we return to normal, what you will miss about quarantine times will be. Please fill in the blanks and return your responses to the church either by mail or by email and to Leon's attention. I'm hoping that this can be ready for our worship on November 29th. Which will be our annual Blue Christmas service of healing and wholeness. So go to your November Covenant News right now and write down your thoughts and help Leon compose something beautiful and renewing for us all to share. New this week is the announcement that tomorrow, in fact, will not be the first Sunday we put worshipers back in the sanctuary with our worship leaders, video streamers, and recorders. COVID numbers are rising at too extreme a rate, and as it turns out, our volunteers are just a bit too few to make it possible for us to accommodate either the county's restrictions or our own for indoor gatherings. Members of our Peace and Justice team are also considering ending the weekly vigil on Friday evenings until the latest spike in COVID numbers moderates, and seek other ways to call for social change so that Black and brown people will be treated with integrity equal to that of white people. Watch this week's e-news and the church signboards for the next phase in our call for human rights and social justice according to the command of God and the dictates of our consciences. So thank you for your patience, and if you are willing to consider being a part of our Sunday technology team, even on a day when we have worshipers in person, please contact me or Ian Didrikson. Why Ian, you may wonder? That's because the Facility and Finance Ministry recommended recently the allocation of some unexpended funds from the 2020 budget to be used to secure Ian's services as a paid team leader. Ian, you may know, is the owner and operator of Mount Everett Productions and has been training our team of tech volunteers. We decided that we cannot do without his expertise and have contracted to have Ian on site every Sunday morning for as long as we can. Congratulations to Ian and to us for securing his gifts and skills going forward. Okay, let me fill you in a little about Thanksgiving at First Church. Worship for Thanksgiving will be pre-recorded and available from our YouTube channel and Facebook page starting on Wednesday, November 25th. Thanksgiving this year will be led by student pastor Elston McCowan. What's different about Thanksgiving Day this year is that our community meal, usually conducted shortly after the worship service, will not take place due to an abundance of caution related to the pandemic. Organizers of the meal regret this decision, but believe that it has been made in the best interest of everyone who would have attended. Sunday morning services for the foreseeable future will be offered online live from the sanctuary at 10 o'clock every Sunday morning, streaming with Zoom and YouTube. No, really. I know I've promised for the last 2 weeks that YouTube connection, and it hasn't worked out. So I'll hesitate today to make the promise, but I can say that we are pretty sure we have found the glitch. So I am very hopeful, dare I say confident. Well, we're working on some special plans for our Blue Christmas service on November 29th and for Hanging of the Greens on December 13th. So if nothing else, don't miss those. But please be with us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for worship, however you choose to connect. Oh, and especially don't miss worship tomorrow when we consecrate our faith promises and ourselves for the coming year. The student ministers and I have a very special message planned for the morning based on the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, with an interpretation that may not be new, but it's definitely fresh and maybe even a little radical. So be there, online, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Be there. That'll be all for this week's video announcements. There are more text announcements below, which you won't want to miss, so be sure to look at those, and I will see you tomorrow morning on Zoom and on YouTube. Peace be upon you.